You send in 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
Today it's 6 p.m. on the 7th of February. This video's from 6 p.m. It's now 6:33, but this is now for the last half an hour being in a critical condition, a controlled state, my jaw getting tighter and tighter shut, unable to move. All day today, same as yesterday, last night, this morning. Crippling braking sessions, potentially well over 1,000 times, stripping my power out, furthering and worsening the institutionalisation or the controlled state that's just getting progressively worse on an hourly basis. So basically they're costing me my life by stripping my power out and internalising it with the objective of institutionalising somebody. What I mean by institutionalising somebody is completely overwhelming the individual, where they've stripped all the power out and internalised it all, so they're just in a robotic, drone-like brain dead state, controlled brain dead state with all the power stripped out and internalised. And that's now been every day. But the fact is, it's getting that serious now. The controlled state's evident to me. It's catastrophic because of how serious the controlled state is. I can't think of the last time I've done a sufficient workout in the gym. Potentially last year. Well, over a year ago potentially. An employer rang me a few days ago, and I've not thought about employment in years, for 5 years or so, because I've been obviously progressively getting institutionalised. The last time I worked, it was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen. It was just a process where I was only in work to get incriminated, so I've never even wasted my time. It's just a total waste of time. There's no chance whatsoever whilst in a controlled state and a forced suicide I'm thinking of working. Like I said, I've been waiting to this now has been costing me every day of my life. So basically, back to what I'm saying, critical condition, my jaw's completely wide shut at this point, all my physical controls getting stripped out on an hourly basis, crippling transgressions or braking sessions stripping out my power on an hourly basis, costing me every day of my life, worsening, furthering the progressive institutionalisation process. So the more power they strip out, the more the controlled state gets worse and worse, putting pressure on my jaw, the back of my skull, my body, and also the more brain dead, controlled, drone-like state I become as they strip out more and more power. So the process getting worse and worse, jaw's getting tighter shut, incapable of doing basic tasks or exerting power in society getting worse and worse, sex drives or sexual arousal getting worse and worse, quality of life getting worse and worse, control over my own life getting worse and worse. Basically, the more on an hourly basis, or in most cases a minutely basis, they're stripping my life out and internalising it, and in every aspect it's just internalising my life, costing me more in my life and worsening the controlled state. It's now completely crushing my jaw shut, my ability to speak for myself's being stripped out today with a crippling transgression, a liar, while physically snagging or restraining my ability to project words or speak for myself with the transgression of liar, basically calling me a liar while restraining or physically internalising my ability to project words or speak for myself. So basically snagging my ability to speak for myself whilst calling me a liar. So rationalising, physically internalising somebody's ability to speak for myself while calling them a liar. So that's what they'll be rationalising it with. Apparently I tell lies, so they're curtailing my ability to speak or stopping me from speaking for myself. Crippling degrading still continues. It's costing me every single day of my life in a critical condition. I've been completely institutionalised for years, but it's now getting very serious as my life's just getting worse, more and more crippling. I'm not kidding when I say this, they've encapsulated my entire life, and the control state's one of the worst in the UK. I'm saying now, with no doubts whatsoever, that the control state, because of how much life they're pulling out, is one of the worst in the UK for a control state, because they're stripping my entire life out, my ability to speak, my ability to get sex, but every single aspect in my life, my ability to speak, my ability to exert power, all the control of my own life. I'm basically a human controlled state that they can commit crime against internally and blame mental illness. It means they've created a human punch bag in a controlled state, and I've said it's one of the worst in the UK. They basically open an institutional self, internalise your entire life into it, and then you're in a full control state when they bring it forward. And majority of the time they've made mental illnesses up where they can commit crime against you internally. So you're essentially a walking punch bag that they commit crime against internally, and they blame mental illness for it, and you've got no control over your own life, and no ability to control your functions or behaviour, because they've internalised it all, or physically snagged it all in a controlled state with your entire life internalised. Either way, crippling, degrading, costing me every day of my life. It's a forced suicide. It's inhumane to be alive, as it has been for years. It's costing me every minute or every day in a critical condition, with my physical power internalised, my ability to speak internalised, my ability to get sexual arousal internalised. Basically, many attributes of my life costing me my life fully internalised or snagged. My physical control over my own life internalised or snagged. My ability to breathe or sleep physically snagged or internalised. They've snagged or controlled every aspect of my life, and it's just getting worse on an hourly basis. Inhumane to be alive. It's a forced suicide. It has been for years, costing me all day every day in a critical condition, with my life getting snagged or internalised. And whilst they're doing it, they're inflicting catastrophic and horrific break-in sessions. Problem still continues. They've completely destroyed the best years of my life to create a human punch bag.